Hello, this is Anna from the Creator Space, and I'm here with day three tip for the laser cutter. So on my screen here, you can see I have two photos pulled up, and these are both photos from the Creator Space Instagram account. These were both laser etched examples of student projects. So the one on the left was a project that a student was etching into mat board. And the reason that they were creating this was because they then rolled it onto a sheet of copper in the jewelry metal studio in order to make a positive version of this negative. This over here was one of my former students, Lauren, and she etched this design into a piece of cast acrylic. And the reason she was doing that was so that she could create a print. So she rubbed ink into the indentions in the surface, and then she took it up to the printmaking studio and created a print. So those are both two options. I wanted to show you another option. I didn't have a good example of etching into wood, so I just pulled this up on Google, and this is an example of what it looks like when you etch a photo into wood. So you can see the other two examples that I showed you a second ago were really graphic and really clean. There aren't any gray tones in these images. They're just either etched or not. And so those type of files are pretty foolproof. They're always going to come out really, really nicely. The challenge is working with gray tones. So when you work with a photo that looks like this, you can see that because of the boy sweater and this table or whatever, it's really dark, and it's really hard to kind of separate the figures. So I'm going to go over a couple of strategies with you today that may help you have a more successful print. So let's look here. I think I have some examples. So these are just a few files that I had on hand. So this was a photo that I took of my son in the pool with a mirror. And if I wanted to etch this onto acrylic or wood or mat board, it's kind of hard to know how this is going to turn out. So a good way to sort of get a better idea is to open it in Photoshop. So I'm just going to open this, in Photoshop, and we'll take a look at it. So first thing I probably want to do is turn this into grayscale. So I'm going to go image, mode, grayscale. And now I can tell, this is kind of graphic for a photo, but these are a lot of darks that I'm afraid I'm going to lose. And there's a lot of whites in here. So the trick is when it's etching, it's really burning into the wood with pulses. And the more contrast you have, the happier you're going to be with your results. So I could go to image, adjust, brightness, contrast. In general, I would say go a little lighter than you think. So let's see, let's brighten it up a bit. And then we can bump up the contrast. Yeah, see, I'm just totally losing him down here. So you just kind of have to play with it. But I don't think this is going to be the strongest image. So I may have to just go back to the drawing board and come up with another image or another solution. You can always test it out and see. I will tell you that we did, let me find this other file here. Somebody brought me a wedding invitation that looked a lot like this. And it was not a great success when we printed it because these flowers at the top were really, really dark. The text was really small. The problem is this is all going to be kind of singed into the wood, and if your lettering is really, really tiny, you may be able to see it, but it's not going to be as strong as like a wedding invitation that was on a white background. So let me show you some other strategies that we can use. One thing you can use that would be really helpful, let me find this. Oh shoot, I thought I had a picture of my fly head pulled up. Let's see. Where did I put it? Oh, here we are. Okay, so fly head. So we're going to open him up with Photoshop. And again, just like last time, I'm going to go to grayscale to see how it's going to look. Sorry, that's my dog. So probably I would first bump up the contrast. And that's better. That probably actually would turn out to be a pretty good print. You could also like go in and select the background, and just if you don't want all this gray nonsense in the background, you could go in and select it, and then let's see. Yeah, so let's see what happens when we just dump white in there. I don't know. We'll try it and see what happens. Yeah, so you could come in, let's see. You could come in and try that. And just go around slowly and choose all this gray stuff in the background. And get rid of that. Let's see. Yeah, this is looking better already. And then just come back in. I can come back in with my eraser tool and just kind of clean that up a little bit. Oh! Anyway, already this is going to be a much better print than it was before, because it's got this nicer contrast between the positive space and the negative space. So already this is going to come out a lot better. So when you're ready to print, all you're going to do, well, first you want to make sure your image size is correct. So right now it's 10 by 12, and that will fit on the bed of the laser cutter. If you guys remember from the day one tip, this maximum size is 18 inches by 32 inches. So you just really have to figure out what your material is. If you have an 8 by 10 piece of wood that you're trying to cut on, then you would obviously just change this and put 8 by 10, size it down, and then you're going to go to File, Print, and when you do, obviously I'm at my house, so this isn't going to have the laser cutter set up in my profiles, but you just send it to the printer pretty much, and you want to make sure that when your print settings, you put it at 00, so it's over in the left hand corner, and then one of the monitors can help you adjust the settings for the laser cutter. But this is going to give you the more graphic your print is, the more success you're going to have. The more contrast, the more success you're going to have. The big thing you don't want is a whole bunch of dark areas. It's harder to distinguish between different values. Oh, another thing you can do too is, let's go back to this picture that I said probably wasn't going to come out that well. Another thing you can do is posterize it. So if you go to Image, Adjust, Posterize. Right now it has 4 levels. So the few, obviously, you know, 2 levels, it's going to come out really, really cleanly, but I'm losing a whole lot of detail down here. So just kind of playing around and seeing the fewest levels you can get is going to make it the most graphic image without losing your detail. So that's another easy way to take a photo and make it more graphic. It just really depends on what your original is that you're working with. So we're going to have a Zoom session on Friday, and I'll post a link to that on our Instagram and our Facebook. And that way, if you have specific questions, maybe you can even show me your file and I can give you some troubleshooting strategies. This is a really great time for you to be fixing these problems while you're at home so that you can come right back in and be ready to roll when the creator space opens again. So have a great day and keep following us on Instagram for more tips.